Good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML F1. We are here for Season 7, round number 4 of the Championship as we take in the Chinese Grand Prix from the Shanghai International Circuit. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Sunday night. And joining me in the commentary box as always again, it is Mr. Pepsi Freak. Pepsi, how you doing?
I'm doing glad here today. I know glad does not really make sense in that sentence, but I'm overly enjoyed to be here again every Sunday, and we're here for the Chinese GP, and it should be interesting because you know from last week's interviews, not a lot of drivers are looking forward to this race, so it may be a monkey wrench for a few drivers going out there on track today.
Yeah, I think this track, honestly, is going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, possibly in terms of the Championship, also in the Constructors' Championship. We'll run you through both, of course, now, but to remind you, actually, of what happened last week in the sprint race, it was Jensen who took the win, Lynx in second, Rudy in third. Then that was backed up with Tom winning the feature race. I've got to say, probably the best driver of the season, any tier, in TTML this season. Absolutely phenomenal drive. He's back once again, hopefully to try and win the to obviously win the race here tonight in China. Rudy finished second, Jensen in third, so they both scored double podiums actually last week in Britain. And the fallout from the feature race as well, we found out just after the stream actually ended that the settings were wrong, and that was confirmed by Rudy. And Rudy, it was only one setting, I think damage was off in the end, that's why we weren't seeing anybody retiring. But full points were awarded to the drivers, I can report, which I think is the best thing. Obviously gets everyone still within the standings as well. Jensen leading the way on 91 points. Rudy in second on 56, along with Lynx, who's also tied for second on 56. Boss Wanted in fourth on 46. MedTC, who an absolute disaster last week, in fifth on 45. Smalley in sixth on 36. Funky Chicken in seventh on 34. Tom and Nathan 33. Didn't even score any points before he came to Britain last week. Carlsbury in ninth on 32. And Fleddy ran off the top 10 on 30 points. And then we've got Black Box, Ares, Khan, TB Hyper, goodness me, that's a mouthful to say. Chalkers in 15th and 16 points, along with Chris. Zoidemer, Basti, Davey, and Bremer are the 20 drivers that have so far scored points this season. Jensen, of course, leading the way by a considerable margin. I think it is more than 30 points. It is 35 points, I think he's leading by coming into the Championship, obviously, tonight here in China. He has got a race wins advantage over both Rudy and Lynx. Surely this is Jensen's to lose tonight.
Yeah, Jensen, right now, if you're a driver in second, third, fourth, Rudy, MedTC, Boss Wanted, Lynx, Tom, Lassie, you're gonna need Jensen to spontaneously combust if you want to have any chance to get some good points here, because he is pretty far ahead right now, and it doesn't look like that storm has any. We're not even near the eye of the storm yet. Maybe China will be the eye of the storm, but if the eye of the storm's after round 3, you may be wishing that storm was a little bit longer. So he's going to need some help here, but right now, it's Jensen's to lose. Jensen would have to kind of step on his own here in order to really put a hindrance on that lead growing, or at least not shrinking by a significant margin tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Jensen, as I say, 35 points. He's got more than a race wins advantage ahead of everyone coming into tonight. So Jensen, really, the pressure is almost off him tonight, and it's going to be quite strange, I think, to say actually that. But Jensen does lead the way in the Championship on 91 points, as I've already said. Red Bull obviously leading the Constructors as well, obviously nowhere near wrapping up the Championship, but they're 46 points ahead of Mercedes in second, who's on 90 points, Red Bull on 136, McLaren in third on 86, AlphaTauri in fourth on 60, Haas in fifth on 49, Alpine in sixth on 46, Aston Martin in seventh on 40, Alfa Romeo in eighth on 36, along with Ferrari, also tied on the same point on 36, and Williams in 10th on 16 points. Red Bull obviously leading the way, 46 points, and again, almost the pressure is off, but we talked about MedTC just before the actual stream started. He had an absolute disaster last week. Red Bull were relying basically on Jensen scoring all the points. MedTC finished well down the field. I think he finished 17th or 18th in the feature race. Surely,
yeah, 2 laps down.
Yeah, 2 laps down in the end. Surely this will be changing fortunes for MedTC, and hopefully Red Bull can be more consistent.
Yeah, MedTC needs to have a kind of a good round here to kind of be the rear gunner. Right now, they got a big points lead from the first 2 rounds, so no pressure here. But if he can't get that monkey off his back, and it's going to be the same couple rounds here next, like China and whatever we go to next, it's going to be the same issue in accordance. So he needs to kind of put his foot in the sand here, and maybe it doesn't have to be a podium performance, but it has to be somewhere that's north of the top 10 to kind of feel like he's got his confidence back and be able to kind of run off that and keep going. So it's up to Metis to kind of make his own fortune here and kind of prove that he may be the second best fit at Red Bull.
Yeah, definitely so. Obviously, he's former F1 Esports as well. Former F1 Esports Challenger Series, not former F1 Esports. Goodness me, I'm giving him a title that he doesn't even deserve. Chinese Grand Prix, though, here at the Shanghai International Circuit. 5.4 kilometers and then 3.3 miles. First held, of course, here in 2004, like the Bahrain Grand Prix. And that first Grand Prix, of course, went to, and I'm just trying to load up Wikipedia here so I can actually confirm that, because I haven't got my normal map off to the right hand side of me. And in 2004 it was Schumacher? Of course, Rubens Barrichello who won.
Oh, the other Ferrari. I thought it was a Ferrari, but I was like, was it Schumacher or was it Rubens? Wasn't 04 China when? No, that was 05. Oh, no, it was 06 China when Schumacher collided with off the line. So yeah, 04 was Barrichello. So yep, fair enough.
Yeah, 2004 Barrichello, 2005 was Fernando Alonso, 2006 was Michael Schumacher, and that was his last ever victory in Formula 1. Believe it or not. Yeah, that is very strange to even tell. And, of course, we are here tonight and marking 1 year since the awful passing of Murray Walker, an absolute legend of the F1 commentary box. I can't believe it is already a year since his passing. It has absolutely flown over. I got the news of his tragic death, obviously, just before I went live for LOE last year, and I remember it vividly. We had to literally prepare something up in the last second. No minute silence or anything here tonight, but Murray Walker and his family and friends, I'm sure, the legend of F1, will always be remembered and has inspired so many commentators like you and me, and like the likes of Luke Etheridge and Jess Games and everyone like that. Everyone looks up to Murray Walker within our commentary box, and he will be sorely missed by every single F1 fan out there, whether you are a sim racing fan or a traditional Formula 1 fan like you and me. He will be sorely, sorely missed.
Yeah, I can agree with that sentiment as well. Yeah, he'll be surely missed in commentary, and yeah, it was a loss a year ago to lose his voice.
The world is poorer, I think, without him. It's as simple as that. The world is poorer without him. Absolute legend of the commentary box. Hopefully we might be able to go on some monikers that Murray, of course, Harry, and Murrayisms, of course, that he had. And maybe you'll get a slightly different start to my 5 red lights here tonight as well. Just watch out for that later on in the stream. But we are here in China, and 18 minutes worth of qualifying is about to begin. Looking quite overcast, I've got to be honest. It's looking very dark here in China at the Shanghai International Circuit. Of course, these 16 turns and the 2 DRS zones around here, Pepsi. One down in towards turn 1, one down in towards turn 14. It's inevitably going to be a lot of overtaking, but you can also see a real pinch point in the circuit, especially coming through 1, 2 and 3, especially coming through turns 2, especially on lap 1, you're going to be really struggling, and if you get pinched, basically, in a pincer movement almost, you're going to be struggling right from the outside, as Tom is the first man out on track.
Yeah, if you get the wrong line through 1, 2, and 3, they go a little bit too wide to get pinched off. It is not going to look good for you. Luckily, there's enough runoff that you'll be okay. You're not going to hit anything, so it's not the end of the world, but you could easily lose a lot of time or be turned the wrong way around and have to make a recovery drive. But we saw last week with Tom, no matter how far back he is or the long way he's going, he'd easily kind of get back up there. So it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely going to put you behind the 8 ball if you go wrong. One other corner to kind of keep an eye on as well would be 7, 8, 9, 10. That is a very iffy section. As I've driven it many times in the game, it feels like if you don't hit it right, you're going to run off. And with mediums and harder, soft tires that are taking more wear, it's a situation where it just feels like you have to let off a little bit, but you got to decide where to let off. How aggressive do you want to take it? And depending on how aggressive you take, decides your fate. So we're going to see a lot of drivers maybe go a little more aggressive or maybe a little bit more conservative, as I have to move my cat. But yeah, it should be interesting to see.
The good old cat coming back to haunt us both, I think, here tonight in the commentary box. Tom Knowles, the first man on track. Of course, he took the feature race win last time out. Going to be fantastic to see if he can try and replicate his form. He was very quick, of course, in Britain. China, I think he won at as well. The last time he came around here, Tom was very quick around here and obviously was towards the top end of the field. I think that's the wrong Tom I'm actually going on about. difference of Toms in the world. There's so many of them. Tom now coming through into the left-hander of turn number 15. I thought there was a little bit of rain actually out on the circuit, but there's not. Coming through the left-hander of turn 16, and now on the run towards the line here at the Shanghai International Circuit, 5.6 kilometres in length, and we'll see what Tom can do on this lap. The AlphaTauri coming now through to the right-hander of turn number 1, and that is not how you want to start off your session at all. And he didn't even catch the curb there, to be honest. He just oversteered completely through turn number 1. Funky Chicken is just on a lap as well, just in behind. But Tom, not the way you want to be starting up a lap. And of course, he's got that setup now on. And that means he's going to be stuck with that for the rest of qualifying and indeed the race. So he's got to be very, very careful, obviously, if he's not to pick up any more spins like that. Funky Chicken, though, coming through the first sector split. Didn't see his first sector split there, but he's looking quick through the first sector.
It looked like he backed down a little bit. It looks like he's going a little bit slow through this section. Now he's taking a flat. I thought he backed up a little because I did see a yellow flag there, but I guess my eyes deceive me. Or maybe it's the Ferrari that was going a bit slow there. So, my mistake. I'll let you continue on with your hot lap there, James.
Yeah, Funky Chicken coming through the left-hander of turn number 10, on the run towards turn number 11. 52.3 is exactly where you want to be, I think, in terms of a middle sector. He is purple, though. We're going to be seeing purple laps. Jensen, I know, is coming through the middle sector, or indeed through the first sector, one of the two anyways. And Funky Chicken now coming through the right-hander of turn 13. On the run down and towards turn number 14. He's taking the middle line, basically, on the run down and towards turn 14. You can reach 200 mile an hour down here. And, of course, you don't want to be getting 4 exploding tyres like Buemi did in 2011, because that was very scary indeed. Probably the scariest crash I think I've seen in Formula 1. Funky Chicken coming through the right-hander of 14, now through 15, the kink of 15, into the left-hander of 16. Takes him nicely. Oh, just a little bit sketchy coming out on the exit, but Funky Chicken to the line, 32.8. We should be seeing times, I think, in the 130s as Khan now goes quickest. So, if you're a Khan fan, I'd probably stop the count now.
Yeah, get the Kodiak out, take a photo. It's not going to last much longer because a few more drivers are coming. We've got the Alfa Romeo of Smalley next. And Smalley is going to go P3 behind them, though. Jensen decides to dash all the hopes and dreams of the Khan supporters and put well over a second on Khan. We got Black Box coming in third, though, so at least he beat Black Box. So top 6 right now. Chalker's next in 6. Tom going to have to rebound quickly. But yeah, Chalkers, I think, also went for a spin on his opening lap because he is well off the pace. So two drivers already kind of showing that these conditions are a bit on the trickier side. Has now got Hyper going P6 on his mediums, but also different as now MedTC, I think, shows off that pre-race talk about him that maybe he needs to kind of find his form. Now he'll go P1, so maybe all for naught. Now Rudy goes P1, so they're all kind of jumping here, trying to go for the rest of the standings here. If they're all going to cross the line, so I think we're going to finish out Noah Jones, a new name. He's P14, 207. We got Carlsbury coming across the line. Daniel as well. I think Fletty just went P4. I think it was Chris went P7. We got Carlsbury is going to be the last driver, but he's invalidated. So I think that is going to be the end of the first major runs here. And Rudy sets his mic off quick here with a P1 with a 1:30.823 with Metzes, even Jensen not far behind.
And I'm going to say now, I think Tom's going to absolutely beat the whole lot of them. 51.1 through in the middle sector compared to Rudy, I think, was a 51.3. So Tom is going very quick on this lap. We'll see what the Brit can do on the run down towards turn number 14. You better not come into the pit lane now that I'm actually budging up his lap here. As now Tom comes through turn number 14, gets a little bit sketchy coming out of 15, and now into the left-hander of 16. Thank goodness he wasn't going straight there. As now Tom rounds the final corner on the run to the line. I told you he would go pole position, and he has. 1:30.8 on that set of soft compounder tyres. Rudy now into second, MedTC in third with 6 minutes gone in qualifying. Tom now out on top, and Tom obviously showed that really good race in the really good pace, I should say, in the feature race, and obviously absolutely mullered the field, I've got to be honest, in a really thrilling finale in Britain last week as well. If you didn't watch that, go and watch it back either on League Racing TV or here on the Twitch channel, because the videos are still up. But Tom out on top, he seems like he's got the pace, and the Liverpudlian is out on top once again.
I kind of wonder if this is going to be maybe a Yona story, where we saw an F2 last season where Yona came in late and started just kind of raking field and came so close to winning a championship. He's got a long way to go. I think 60 down on Jensen. He's going to need Jensen to, like I said, make horrible mistakes or something, but Tom could easily be maybe the driver to watch out for. Could bring the thunder to MedTC, Rudy, Jensen, or Fletty as well as him pretty strong as well, so yeah, Tom may be the sleeper pick for the second half of the season. You know, we're not even close to the second half of the season. It's only been 3 rounds. But metaphorically speaking, the 20th minute sub coming off the bench, and maybe someone to keep an eye out for in watching his performance. But, yeah, so trying to see who else is kind of on a run here. We got Tom. He's on a cooldown lap. Most drivers are coming in for the most part. I think the McLaren of Lynx, and he's currently on out lap, but he's got to start his... I think, yeah, unless you see anyone that's kind of worth noting, I think everyone's either invalidated or on cooldown laps. So I think, other than Lynx, who's about to start his run, I think we're going to have a little bit of a lull period here with 10 to go.
Yeah, Zoidemer's on a lap actually further on the field. Colsbury through the first sector, and now Lynx coming across the line. So we'll focus on Zoidemer, I think, first. He's coming through the middle sector of turn 7 and 8, and then in towards, of course, a double left of 9 and 10. We'll go on board with Lynx about halfway around the lap if we can. Probably when these guys come across the line, and Zoidemer won't be coming across the line because he's just spun it coming out of turn 10, and Colsbury just goes past him. He luckily avoided that. 51.6 through the middle sector for Colsbury. Zoidemer obviously off his lap. He'll probably be coming back into the pit lane, the reserve here tonight in the AlphaTauri, and Lynx through the first sector, not looking too bad it seems as well. But Tom out on top, Rudy in second, MedTC in third, and the top 5 at the minute, 4 out of the top 5 were either former or current IFR drivers, MedTC being the exception. So Tom, Rudy, Jensen and Fleddy all either part currently of IFR, as Colsbury's absolutely butchered turn number 14. Just runs massively wide there, pretty much like Vettel and Verstappen, I think, when they made contact, and now Colsbury is coming back into the pit lane, so this will give us a good opportunity to run on board with Lynx. He's coming now through the right-hander of turn 13, but as I was saying there, yeah, so the top, the five drivers in the 4, I can't even speak.
The top 5, 4 out of the 5 drivers.
4 out of the 5 drivers were IFR or current IFR drivers. You can probably tell who's the IFR drivers. It is Rudy and Fleddy at this moment in time. Tom and Jensen, former drivers, of course. Lynx coming to the final corner. Speaking of IFR drivers, he's around the final corner and on the run to the line. And he goes 6th, so it's now 5 out of the top 6 that are now IFR drivers. Good lap there by Lynx. He looked a little bit slow coming out the final corner, inevitably going to improve on his lap. But Tom out on top, Rudy in second, MedTC in third. I think second runs are underway, and Khan is one of the drivers on his second run. And looks like deceiving me. No, he's well down in the first sector.
Yeah, well down in the sector, so kind of getting the grips with the track. I think he's letting a little bit go here. But Jensen just started his run as well, so we'll see where he's at the end of Sector 1 as he's coming up through 3-4. He's going to, at the end of Corner 5 is where the end of Sector 1 is. We're going to see where his times are. Keep it on the right of the screen. Is it going to be purple? It is going to be. He's 71 tenths up. It's not going to be enough for a pole run yet, but that could get him closer to MedTC, so he's going to have to find some more time in the second and third sectors if he wants to make a pole run. I want to say it's Noah Jones offside. Yes, he is a little bit slow there. Looks like he went a little bit wide on his first lap here, so he's going to have to really find out. And something else worth noting is the sun is currently shining, so the track's going to have a little bit more grip, and the tires are going to be a little bit more grippy. So we're going to see those times definitely improve by the end of this run. So the sun is coming out. Now he's 2 tenths up. This is looking to be a pole run. I think that'll be P2 at the very moment. He's going to have one more long straight to go after 12-13. Easy time to lose it or gain it. Because if you go a little bit too left, you could spin the car, but it looks like Jensen's keeping it clean. So he's going down the long straight, down the long run, open up DRS, activating almost all of his ERS, and we're going to see where he is coming through the last couple of corners here. Wants to break around the 150-100 meter board here, successfully breaks it, going to get the car pinched in, and it's looking good. One more corner to go. Don't go a little bit too left, or else that will be run invalidated. Can Jensen snatch pole away from Tom? Can the senior team jump it away from the junior team? And it's looking good so far. It's going to be a 1:37.81, and Jensen's currently P1 for now. But Tom, Rudy, and MedTC are all on runs, along with Fleddy. So Fleddy's next up, so we'll see if the McLaren can get to Jensen.
Well, Fleddy's 3 tenths up coming through the middle sector. MedTC's invalidated coming through turn 9 and 10. And Mercedes is round as well. Is that Rudy that has spun? I think it is Rudy that has spun. He was actually even in the first sector compared to his time that he actually set. So Rudy spinning through turn number 9. Very difficult corner to get right at the best of times. Fleddy looked very quick through the final corner. On the run to the line. And he now goes quickest. That is a bit of a shock, I've got to say. Fleddy out on top. Jensen now in second. Tom, however, is 2 tenths up coming through the middle sector. He's now coming through right-hander of turns 12 and 13 through the little hairpin and now onto the back straight, but Fleddy out on top. Jensen in second. Tom, I think, could set a 1:30.5 here. He is going that quick. on this set of soft compound tyre. We'll see what the Brit can do on the run down in towards turn number 14. He has got a few cars ahead of him. That's a Mercedes, I think, of Rudy, just getting out the way, as now Tom comes around the final couple of corners, through the kink of 15, into the left-hander of 16. If he gets his corner right to 30.5, through the final corner, on the run to the line, here comes a 130.5. There you go.
Correct. I honestly think that was a correct run there, correct prediction. I honestly think it's because the sun's coming out. The track's getting a little bit more rubbered up, so we're going to see those times. They already come down by default, but now that's not overcast, we're seeing those times come down, and we're going to see a lot of improvements. I think Chalkers just went P6. Bit of a shock there, because Chalkers has been kind of about the 12th, 13th in qualifying, but P6 right now for him. Good run for the Mad Lad, currently in 6th. We also got, I think, Black Box. We got Smalley down the road. I think Smalley's on a cooldown run. I think we got Daniel on the long run as well, currently P11. Trying to get inside that top 10. We'll see if he can do it as well. We'll see as he goes to the last couple quarters. Just to get anyone else on a run ahead of him. I think Williams is ahead. I think that is, I want to say Chris, as I do see someone just jumped in. I want to say that was Noah Jones going P5. Wow, Noah Jones kind of struggled for a little bit. Noah Jones P5. I think Chris went P14. And here comes Daniel across the line. It's going to be P7 for him. So times are really starting to come down here. And we're seeing some shock names that you don't really see in that top 10 really kind of pushing the limit here. But right now, Carlsbury and Zoidema, one of the only two drivers not to set time. So bit of a shock that they have not put down a time yet with 5 to go.
Carlsbury on a lap, but I think he's backed off coming through the middle sector. He's going very slow through that middle sector. Steph is coming through the final sector in towards turn 14. He's 5 tenths up on his lap. Of course, brand new driver here to F1 this season, and he's a brand new driver here tonight as well. He literally signed up a few hours ago. So Steph now having a bit of baptism of fire. Don't know what that was. Now Steph comes to the line, 31.4 on that set of soft compound tyres. It's Tom out on top, Fleddy in second, Jensen in third. Apologies about that. I think I really start to swallow flies in every single commentary that I do. It is terrible. But Tom out on top, Fleddy in second, Jensen in third with nearly 4 minutes to go.
Maybe because of the baptism by firelight, maybe it was a little bit of the Holy Spirit coming out instead. So we'll see as Metsies, he's on a cooldown run. Noah Jones on another push here. I think Lynx, though, is on a run here. Sector 2 times, currently 2200s up. Looks like he can keep around Chalker, so we'll have to keep an eye on that McLaren as he kind of cuts these sectors here. He's going to be near the end of Sector 2 here. 2 corners to go. We'll see where he can put his car in the spot here. So we're going to see what Lynx can do. Currently P9. Can he get close to his teammate in P2? It's quick. 2 tenths up. That would snod him around P6 right now. So we'll see what the McLaren boy can do. I'll quickly see if anyone else is close to the run on the line here. We got Boss Juan. He's on a push lap, but he's currently in the first sector. So yeah, I think Lynx is next close to the set of time here. So he's down the long straight. As the McLaren driver kind of cuts down here, he's going to have to find some time. It's not too much time can be gained, but how aggressive you take corner 16 can gain you a tenth or invalidate your whole run. So how aggressive will it take as he comes through the hairpin? Do you see something?
Yeah, I think he might go fourth, actually, with this lap. That's what I was going to come on to say. Lynx coming through the final corner, on the run to the line. I think he is going to go fourth to the line. Oh, he's just shy. Goes fifth, 30.9. But I think that middle sector, he just sort of backed off the throttle coming out of turn number 11 and didn't get the run out through 12 and 13 that he might necessarily have done. But Lynx, that was a good lap, 30.9. Don't think there's anybody else out there on a lap. MedTC's run out of fuel, so that's why he's going slow in the final sector. He had already invalidated coming through the first sector as well. But Tom out on top, Freddy in second, Jensen third. 3 minutes to go now in the session. And I don't think there's anybody on that bar Boss wanted it, but he's also invalidated as well.
Yeah, with 3 minutes to go, though, if you're currently on the track, as we see a lot of drivers going out there, Tom heading for the door, Jensen already on the door, Rudy as well. Jensen's going to be the first one to start his mad dash for fame here. We also now got Fletty heading as well, but problem is Lynx going to have enough time to get around, switch tires, and get back out? Because he's on a cool run right now, and I don't think he's going to have enough time, because by the time he gets to the pit lane, it's going to probably be 150, 140, and he'll cross the line with... It's going to be... There's no quick option, so...
He won't.
I think Lynx is kind of made his bed here, and I think that may be the same thing. Boss Wanted made it in, so he'll be fine. So yeah, right now if you're on a run, Khan, Smaller, the only two drivers on run, so this is a put of a shut-up lap, but I think, yeah, Lynx will go no higher than P5 as Jensen is coming off the last corner here, so we'll cut back Jensen a little bit, and we'll see if Jensen, our current points leader, can make his mad dash and get pull away from the sister team of AlphaTauri.
Khan is on the lap, coming through the middle sector now. He's 800ths down in the middle sector. He's down there in 16th position, obviously struggling in terms of a pace. He's still here in F1. There was talk, actually, in moving him back to the assist, which I will exclusively say here on TTML F1. But he's chosen, obviously, to stay in. He's clear of Funky Chicken at this stage. Funky hasn't got a good lap in at the minute. Zoidem, I think, is on the lap, and actually Khan has invalidated his links, has retired from the session. I thought he had enough fuel, actually, to go on for another run, but he hasn't. Black Box is coming through turn number 1, but we'll go on board with Jensen, see what he's getting up to now through the middle sector of turns 9 and 10. And if he negotiates turn 10, he looked quick through the first sector. Bit of snap of oversteer on the exit of the corner. Now through the middle sector, he's 600s up, 51 flat through the middle sector, but he needs to improve, and that is not going to help him improve. He's backed off the
Rudy
lap
in the
now.
wall. Sorry to back you off there. Rudy Galassa coming off corner 10 there, and it's similar to what happened a couple laps ago. Hit the wall hard there, and luckily the wheel is still on, but he hit it a ton there. Hopefully damage is also on. I think the setting was fixed, so keyword hopefully there. But yeah, Jensen is backing down. Jensen will not improve here, and Tom is also coasting, so our top 4, it's up really to Fletty to see if he can kind of make something happen here.
I think it is. Noah Jones, perhaps, as well. He's just gone onto a lap, but we're on board with Fleddy. See what he's getting up to. He's 5,000 up through the first sector, 24 flat through the first sector, with Tom out on top, Fleddy in second. Fleddy, his final corner really cost him, and that is why I think he's probably going to go quicker than Tom here on his actual lap. But Tom, I think he's coming through the final couple of corners. No, he's not. He's in the middle sector, so he's not going to get another run in. Fleddy is coming through that middle sector of turns 9 and 10. Boss Wanter's retired into the pit lane, and Fleddy now coming through the middle sector, 51.2. He looks a little bit off this pace, actually. Fleddy now, this final sector, though, is going to be make or break exclusively for him at this stage, and now coming through the right hand of 13. Jensen there in third. He's not on a lap either. He's backed off. He's actually just gone on to another one, so Jensen could still have a chance of possibly going pole, and Fleddy's backed off his lap. So, we'll run above with Jensen then. Tom hasn't got another run in. He will be coming across the line very soon indeed. Jensen's 8,000s down through the first sector. We've got other drivers on the lap as well. I think Daniel is coming through the final couple of corners.
No,
and that is actually Daniel off. That is Smalley, in fact, coming through the final couple of corners. The other Alfa Romeo, he is into the pit lane. The McLaren is in. I think it's only Jensen that's out there on the lap. He's coming through turn 9 and 10. That was quick through there. And now Jensen coming through the middle sector, 50.9. This is going to be there or thereabouts. Noah goes second. I don't know where he came from. Noah goes second, but I think Jensen, if he can find a good 0.2 of a second in this final sector, he's going to be on for pole position. Can the Red Bull do it? On the run down and towards turn number 14. He'll open up the DRS now. He's running very low on fuel. He's got good deployment, though, still towards the end of the lap. But Tom leading the way. Noah in second. Jensen has got to try and trouble the sister car. Down and towards 14. Nicely negotiated. Out of the kink of 15. Now to the left-hander of 16. He's got to take that's absolutely on the limit through 16. And he validates and he spins off into the wall. And that's more out of frustration, I think, than anything else. He knew he didn't get the angle right into the final corner. Tom out on top. Noah in second. I think Zoidem back into the pit lane there as well. He's actually ran out of fuel.
Done. Oh, yeah, that session done. I was kind of watching times to see if anyone else could go. Carlsbury kind of got P7, but a lot of drivers either invalidated or didn't time the run slight. And MedTC, and I want to say it was Steph, both missed their runs to the line and didn't get there in time. So no improvements for them because they timed it wrong. Zoidem is now retired, so I think we're just waiting on Hyper's car to be thrown in the pit lane, and we'll be good to go. But yeah, Tom P1, Noah Jones, a bit of a shock. P2 kind of came from nowhere. Fleddy P3, Jensen looking a bit human in P4 with Rudy in 5. So yeah, some shocks here. Some drivers you don't usually see in that top 5 echelon. Kind of here, we got recent race winner Tom first, and then Noah Jones and Fleddy, who were both kind of strong last week. I thought Fleddy was strong last week. Noah Jones obviously wasn't here last week, but yeah, just kind of a bit shocking top 3. I think going to the session, if you said top 3 wasn't going to have a Jensen, a Rudy, or a MedTC in it, and you look at Kermit's comment in the chat, he even thought the same prediction. Yeah, a bit of a shock.
Yeah, a bit of a shock indeed, but we can't take it away from Tom's pace. Tom out on top by a tenth of a second from Noah in second, who's only 6,000s ahead of Fleddy in the end in third. Jensen in fourth, Rudy in fifth, Lynx, who's running the Ukrainian flag there, in sixth. Good to see him supporting the cause. Carlsbury in seventh, MedTC in eighth, 5/10 off the pace, with Daniel in ninth, Chalkers in 10th. Black Box theft, Hyper, Funky Chicken. I can't read the rest because we've finished now, but you can probably get the gist of where everyone actually was. Daniel was further down the field there as well. And obviously, very good racing out on track. The likes of Carlsbury as well, starting near the back of the field, I believe. But Going in now to the formation app. Thank you to everyone, by the way, that readied up early and just ruined my chance of actually getting through all 19 drivers there. Really appreciate it.
I think that was partly my fault because I talked a little bit too long, rambling there. Should have gave you a little bit more time to run down the standings so we could have talked during the ad break. So I'll take some partial blame for that on timing as well. But yeah, we're about to start the session. We got 30 seconds to go. It looks like a dry session here, so no real threat of rain. And honestly, for the first 4 rounds, there really has been no threat of rain. So I feel like Mother Nature is going to come eventually and strike. And I know you, not the biggest fan of rain, you want the driver to settle on pace, but as a little bit of a chaos god in myself, want a little bit of despair, as they would say. It's always love to see a good little rainstorm here, and I think we'll get it at least for the season, but it isn't going to be China, which is known for its rainy situations.
I've seen, honestly, racers go around here in China, and I've seen conditions change literally at the click of a button. It's literally that quick. I've literally seen a race where I think they were coming round in the first few laps of the race, and then clouds came over, absolutely teamed it down of rain. Not light rain either, heavy rain, and then it dried out towards the end of the race. So, hopefully we might get that. I am a fan of rain around here. It does add a lot of spice to the action, but still, we're going to get more spice and hopefully some really good action, of course, out on track. Tom out on top, Noah Jones in second, Fleddy there in third. Top 10, of course, qualifying on that sort of soft compound tyres. Interesting calls, though, further down the field. We saw all 18 drivers, or all drivers down the field in TTML F2, go for sort of medium compound tyres. Smalley and Chris, however, have gone for sort of hard compound tyres. Now, initially, the hards are going to be very, very slow. They're probably going to be the best tyre to get 21 laps on before you get onto a set of soft compound tyre. And I think it's a strategy call. It's probably the wrong strategy call, but it's a strategy call that can get them at least to lap 21 on a set of soft, and then put on a set of soft compound tyres, and then they're going to be the quickest guys out on track. But they're all reliant on no safety cars, I think, coming out for that strategy to work.
And I know China, it's not a prone to safety car track. There's a lot of space, but with a lot of spinners, something could happen. I've seen safety cars happen before, so I don't like the call per se. But again, if you're Smalley or Chris, you're currently 16th or 18th. What do you got to lose on trying something alternate here? Because you don't really have, if you follow the leader, you follow the leader, and you really don't go anywhere. So trying something off-key can end up winning you the race, or at the very least get you a higher spot than you wish. So I don't hate the call. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes from. Got to try something that far back. But yeah, Tom about to kind of hit his grid spot here. And actually, you know what? You usually throw the predictions out. I'm going to throw it out this time. What do you think your top 3 is going to be, James?
Top 3 for me, Tom for the win, Jensen for second, and Rudy for third. I'm being very boring, I know.
Yeah, you threw Jones, Fleddy, kind of threw them to the wolves a little bit there. I think I'm going to go alternate. I'm going to go... You know what? I'm going to go with a newcomer. I'm going to go Jones winning this race, Fleddy second, and let's go Rudy third.
Interesting. We'll have to wait and see, of course, what happens here in China. The first Grand Prix held here, of course, in 2004, and Rubens Barrichello took the win. Will there be another Ferrari on the front step of the podium? Maybe Chalkers or Khan to try and reclaim the fame for Ferrari. But the 5 red lights are about to go out here in China. It is round number 4, in fact, of the championship, and it is... Go, 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 and Tom gets a very good start. Noah there pulling out of the slipstream, but I think he's got a really slow start now. Fleddy to the outside line, in towards turn number 1, is going to try and go all the way around the outside, but Tom leads the way through turn 1. Noah in second, Fleddy in third, Lynx is up the inside of Jensen as well. He's into fourth, and now battling with his teammate for third. Everyone, I think, is clean through and behind. Khan has made a couple of positions further down the field. He's gaining position. I think Bus Wanter got caught up in a bit of an incident there, right down towards the back of the field, but Tom leads the way. Noah there in second, Khan has spun. I think Smalley has been caught up in an incident as well.
Got touched by Chris there.
And now Rudy down the inside line as well on Jensen. The Ferrari the Red Bull of METC, in fact, going side by side with Daniel coming through turn number 7. And Daniel's on the inside line. METC, though, all the way around the outside. Holds the line. Nice move that by METC. A little bit of a love tap there from Daniel. But he's into 8th. And now, still side by side, Zoidemer trying to go all the way around the outside as well. Black box. He's right on the back there. Steph, I think, had to make avoid an action with Funky Chicken. Now making a mistake through turn number 9. He's been overtaken by Boss Wanted. So, and as Khan has spun completely off into the wall, and that is completely off on track. I saw that. He reversed pretty much into the wall. It's deployed a full VSC, so a virtual safety car out on track. I saw that. It looked like there was no attempt to get back on the throttle to me, so the stewards might want to have a look at that one.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to take a look for your POV. I was just kind of watching the mid-pack there, so I didn't get a good look at it, so I will at least pass judgment. I'm not a steward, so not my call to make. But yeah, Tom Hood leads the way. Jones in second. Khan has now left the session. Again, he was doing okay at the start, but looks like maybe China's gotten the best of him. But again, I will hold judgment at the very least. But now we start lap 2 here. I think the VSC maybe coming. I was going to say it was coming in because Tom was going pretty far, and he was, yeah. So Tom really got a good jump. Maybe caught Jones napping there. Rudy in the back here. Trying to make a move on Lynx, can't make it happen. Kind of kept his nose in there, kept him honest, but not very much happened. He gets a little bit of a car park maneuver here. Looks like a little bit of a Cornita effect behind Jensen here at the very least. BetTC, though, on lap 1, kind of got a little argy-bargied and kind of down to 8th here. Looks like just taking no prisoners here, down to 8th here. Kind of got pushed out by the Haas just a bit. Clean racing, but nowhere to go. As we see... Oh, Noah.
Noah forces Floody off track coming through turn number 6 there and pushed him completely off track. Rudy's going side by side with Lynx. All the way around the outside goes Rudy to the inside line. He gets the move done. Brilliant stuff by Rudy. Stooney's into 5th. The Dutchman flies through on his IFR teammate and he's Stooney's into 5th. Lynx now in 6th. I wonder if Lynx is struggling maybe either with a setup or a bit of damage maybe on that car. He's there in 6th position. He's dropping off a little bit on Rudy. Floody gets thrown out of the dirty air as well. Jensen's now right on the back of him. Former IFR driver against current IFR driver. Tom leads the way. Noah there in 2nd. Fleddy in 3rd. But Jensen now is going to pull out the strip for him called no DRS around. And Metty C is around coming through turn number 13. He recovers the car. But Jensen now on the back of Fleddy in towards turn number 14. He's on the outside line in towards 14. Can he think about getting this move done all the way around the outside? He can. Look at the grip levels for Jensen. He's through and he's into 3rd. Very nice stuff indeed. Rudy through into 5th. Lynx are struggling, I think, for tyre wear more than anything else. Carsbury now right on the back of him. The Finn is already up to 7th, so he's got a very good start. Chalks is spun coming through the final corner. And now Carsbury to the outside line on Lynx in towards turn number 1. Don't think he's going to get the move done unless he cuts underneath. He gets caught on the curb though. Now I think it's going to compromise his run. There's a little bit of a love tap going on there. Carsby's still on the outside line though, and now Lynx is going to have to force him nearly off into the gravel, and Lynx has got the move done. He takes the inside line, he's through, and he holds into 6th position for now. Tom leads the way, Noah in 2nd, Jensen 3rd. Quite a few spins as Carsby dives it down the inside line of Lynx, but I don't think he's going to get that move done, and he doesn't, and that was a bit ambitious, I think.
Yeah, that was a very ambitious move. I think Carlsby's getting a little impatient behind Lynx. Maybe wants to kind of get a move here, just kind of weighing back. 3rd down the field, we saw Chalker spin, MedTC spun, and Boss Wanted coming to the pits for a set of hard tires. So something did happen to Boss Wanted. So China taking no prisoners here early, and it looks like it's a little bit argy-bargy. And I think we're going to cut on board here. I think we're going to got Jensen, because Jensen's riding the back of Noah Jones here. And with DRS activated this time by, I think it may be a situation of taking candy from a baby, as Tom is now 1.6 back on Jones. Jones maybe struggling for tire wear a little bit here on the early goings, and definitely not latch back on top. I think now Chalker's around again, the Ferrari in corner 10, similar to what's happened in qualifying, and here comes Jensen on the inside. He's going to make that move smooth as butter. Easy like taking candy from a baby. Jensen 2nd, Jones in 3rd. We'll see if anyone further back. I think Carlsby going for a move on Lynx. He's going a little bit too deep, locks up and really pushes the McLaren on wide there. And he's probably should give the spot back, considering he just barged him around. But I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's pulling. No, he's not. Pulling. He's going to. Is he? Because there he goes. All right.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like Verstappen. Yeah, it's kind of looked around me of Verstappen Hamilton in Saudi Arabia, where you didn't really know what was going on there for a second. But all's fair and level. I don't think Lynx got any damage, but they did lose a lot of time to Rudy, though. So I think Lynx is like, if you're going to do it again, at least don't push me off. Now Zoida makes a move on Black Box for 10th position.
I think Black Box got caught on the curb coming through turn number 1, and Zoidem, I think, went on the inside line there, so he's through and he's into 10th. Black Box there now struggling 11. Steph's on the back of him in towards turn number 6, but doesn't get the move done. The Aston Martin waiting behind on his teammate. Tom, though, leading the way. I'm really impressed by Jensen's pace, though. A second now the gap. Tom has been eaten into that advantage by Jensen and behind, and he is not the championship leader and current and defending TTML F1 champion for anything else. Jensen closing in on Tom. We saw these two, of course, make a bit of a squabble in the sprint race and indeed in the feature race as well in Britain. And I think Jensen is just within that DRS range. The DRS detection point is just coming out of that corner through turn 12, and Tomlin's very wide coming out of 13, and this is going to give Jensen a possible enticement to try and go for the move. I think he'd probably go for the move now, rather than waiting behind, but I think he's too far back. He's not using up any ERS and just going to close up, possibly, for a run down in towards turn number 1. That was Fleddy, yeah, down on the inside of Noah, tries to go down the inside line, and he does. Nice move that by Fleddy. He's soon he's into third. Noah is struggling a lot, I think, in terms of the tyre wear. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the pits, and Rudy's folding him in as well.
Rudy's thankful that they got rid of the gravel trap there, else he would have pulled a Hamilton in 07. He was 2 wheels off there. I think Noah Jones followed him.
Jensen
Jensen made a move on Tom there.
Yeah, he got the move done.
Yeah, good. Jensen made a move on Tom there. I don't know what else to say. But Jensen takes the lead. Hyper up to 5. As I think Daniel has spun it. Yep, Daniel is wrong way around. So another claimed by the Spins of China. And back on the pack there, I think Rudy goes for a set of hearts. Lynx goes for the set of hearts. So no one... It's because, they'll get you to the end. So maybe Chuck maybe tries a medium, maybe a 2-stop. But I think the 2-stop lose them a little bit too much time. But, yeah, it looks like they're getting a little bit argy-bargy. We do got a big car park form behind Zoidema here, and if someone gets a little bit impatient, we may see a driver like Black Box maybe try something a little bit aggressive, similar to Carlsby on Fleddy a few laps ago.
Yeah, knowing Black Box, though, he is a very clean driver, and he doesn't want to go for a move that's not going to be his. It's as simple as that. And Black Box there in 7th. He's just waiting and behind, I think, on Zoidema. Obviously, Zoidema got that move done, and he's now beginning to pull away again. Through that middle sector, he seems stronger through the middle sector than he does through the first and third sectors, and that's why Zoidema pulls away by 7/10. Black Box, Steph, Funky Chicken. I think there's a move possibly going to be coming further down the field. Medsi C's on the back of Smalley. He is struggling. Hyper on the back of Carlsbury as well, and Tom is closing up very quickly to the back of Jensen in towards turn 14. Doesn't get the move done, but we'll go on board with Hyper. He's alongside his teammate down in towards turn number 14. Gets the move done, and yes, Steph did say there was a move coming out of this pack. Oh, he dives down the inside line. I think he made a bit of contact there actually with Black Box. He's through, and he's into 7th. And Black Box on the outside line. It looked like a bit wheel banging, to be honest. There is a spinner as well. That is Daniel again that has ran. His tyres are absolutely shot. And that's Steph on the back of Zoidema. Is he going to try and get moving towards someone? No, he's just waiting behind. Jensen leads the way. Tom in second. I think both of these are probably collaborating together at this point because they realise that I think that, like an F2, overcut is more powerful than undercut.
Yeah, mutually assured destruction. If they battle each other right now, they're going to end up shooting themselves in the foot for both of them. So they know, all right, sit behind each other. We're just going to let the car come to us, and then we're going to see what happens here. So Jensen and Tom kind of playing each other's game here. Again, the senpai with the kohai, as they would say. I know we're a couple ways with Japan, but decided to sneak that one in there. But yeah, they're working together here and making it work. Hopefully it doesn't end up on a cringe compilation. But anyway, we got Funky Chicken on the back of Black Box here in that little pack here again. So the leader of, actually, Hyper's leader of the meat pack, and he's about 2 clear of Zoidema, and Zoidema's in the next race. I do see a little bit of smoke kick up there, which kind of odd considering there's no kitty litter or anything there. Yeah.
Oh, Noah's around.
Dust. Oh, Noah is around. Is he around?
Yep, he's just lost position to Fleddy and Lynx. He was around coming through turn number 7. There was a yellow flag briefly there, and I think he lost both positions to Fleddy and Lynx. So Noah now has to try and make it up. It's going completely and utterly wrong, I think, from now. The Brit has got to try and close in. Funky Chicken, in the meantime, 2 Brits are going to battle out down towards turn number 14. The Chicken around the outside of Black Box, and he is going to get this move done, I would imagine, with the traction on the outside of turn 14, and he does, and Funky Chicken is through, and he's into P6, possibly a Chicken Bucket winging his way after that one. Funky Chicken through, and he's into 6. That is going to go in the cringe compilation for TTML for sure. Steph on the back of Zoidema in towards turn number 1. He's not quite close enough. I'm still shocked though. Jensen and Tom are still not coming into the pit lane. Their tyres look relatively fresh. I can't believe I'm saying that 7 laps into the race. We're a quarter of the way through. And Jensen and Tom are obviously working together. Gap has been pulled down and behind by Hyper. Medium's obviously quicker at this stage. But Jensen and Tom are doing a good job. They're going to probably, I think, fall out behind Lynx and hopefully rejoin ahead of Noah. That'll be the expectation. But I think they're carrying on this long into the race because they realise they're probably going to go 2-stop, I think mediums, and then softs towards the end of the race.
Maybe try to go for the strong strategies. What kind of shocks me, though, is remember, Jensen did 2 laps on his tires. Remember, first lap he invalidates, second lap he ended up making that mistake. As I think we see up like Metc, I want to say. Yes, it is. Metc again. Looks like he was looking good in quali, and he is just it's been a bad fortune right now for him, as it looks like the Thunder is not going to stop. Tires are overheated, and he'll get it refired, but definitely going to lose some spots here. And I think he has even made his pits up. There he goes around. Tire wheels are way overheated, so he's just going to have to try to cool them down and limp it around. He's going to need a safety car to get back in this. You do feel for the driver a little bit, and I think Jensen's kind of looking like, come on, we need to get more points. Come on, get it fired. We need to get something out of this. But Jensen, we'll see if they come in this time by. No, they're not. They're staying out for another run. But to finish my point, Jensen, 2 laps on the softs and had to carve his way through the field. I'm shocked those tires are holding as well as they did. Tom, I can kind of understand because he did 1 lap of the tires, and at the same time, it was kind of out in the pack with no pressure for the first opening lap, so he couldn't back it down. So really shocked Jensen's tires are holding as well as they are. It's in the rest of the field decided to pull in on 4, 5, and 6 respectively.
Chris on the back of Smalley in towards turn number 1. This is the closest battle we've got currently out on track. 8th and 9th. You can call a battle. I think Chris is just waiting behind at the minute on Smalley, the Scotsman, there in P8. Cosby closing up on Noah down towards turn number 1. Again, not quite close enough. I think everyone is just happy. Scotby actually gets caught on the inside curb through turn number 1. Boss Wanted, however, is going side by side with MedTC. He's into the pit lane. And you have to feel sorry, I think, for MedTC at this point. I commentated on him on a Thursday, and on a Tuesday even. And honestly, his race is now beginning to look like he's back on a Tuesday evening instead of a Sunday. First 2 races of the season, he was absolutely sensational. Next 2 races of the season, obviously Britain last week was a complete disaster, and I think, I hate to say this, I think this is even worse for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's because he had such... I think the thing is with Britain, he qualified bad, so it's kind of like you knew maybe it's a strong track. But here, he was up in 7th. He was up in 6th for a long time fighting there. And it just lost... Like, something went wrong. Maybe we have to contact the Monstars here and see if they took his powers, because something has just kind of gone wrong with MetTC here. Luckily, a break week coming up, so if something's gone wrong in the machinery, he's got time to figure it out and understand what's going on. Now, Steph makes a move on Zoidberg here, down the inside. Yeah, beautiful move there. And Jensen and Tom staying out again. Is there a chance they just go mediums and still try a one-stop? Yep. Maybe that's in the cards?
I think so. If they're going to be pitting in this lap around, it'll still be 2-stop, medium softs. Mediums only last around 12 laps around here, so Jensen and Tom are going to have to be wary of that. If they get 10, 11 laps, I think, on this set of soft compound tyres, they've done an awesome job. Clearly a class above the rest. And obviously, they're going to be towards the front end of the field, right towards the end of the race, because they're obviously going to be on mediums, and they're obviously going to be sensationally quicker than the likes of Fleddy and Rudy. And Daniel, by the way, he's on a set of soft compound tyres. He might have spun, but he's causing Lynx a few problems. There's actually Lynx just dived it through the inside of turn 4. Daniel did not have any grip there at all, coming out of turn 4. Nice move there by Lynx. He's through, he's into 12, and that was probably the easiest move you might see all season in TTML. Jensen out on top, Tom in second, and Tom for the first time, I think Jensen's applying a bit of pressure. Jensen is not using up as much deployment as Tom this lap around. Obviously Tom's got more ERS, but coming through the final sector now, Tom seems like he's struggling maybe with the tyres. It's the left tyres that take the bear load around here.
Yeah,
the front left especially.
I think there's pit lap time because they're both using a ton of ERS here, so I think this is the pit run line. So yeah, they're coming in this time by. What's shocking is Daniel is also, using the gravel lap here, was also on that soft strategy as well, but without his front wing, I think that may be the alternate of what went wrong there. So Jensen and Tom, we'll see if they're coming in this time by. Are they debating us? Yep. No, they are not. Jensen and Tom both coming in, so they will give the lead up to Hyper, and I assume they're going mediums here because they did all that to go on a set of hards. Bit of a head scratcher in that decision making.
Let's have a look what tyres are going on. It is a medium compound tyre for Jensen, and should be a set of mediums for Tom as well. Yep, set of mediums for Tom. Whether or not, though, they can get 18 laps to the end of the race, I'm very much questioning whether they're still going to go onto a set of softs. But look at where they're coming out.
Wow, right behind Rudy and Fleddy. That's going to be battle for Jensen. Almost gets pushed off there because Fleddy had nowhere to go. Jensen going to take advantage of his track position. It's Tom going to try to follow through as well. They're getting a little pushy here. We got Fleddy and Tom fighting. We got Tom behind him. There goes Fleddy rolling around. They wheeled a side pod. Fleddy is going to be kicking himself there. He'll get it refired, but Jensen and Tom going to take a spot here, and they are de facto P2 and P3. But Fleddy just probably wondering what went wrong there. Wheeled the side pod and the car got sent. I don't think that was probably just a racing incident if I've ever seen one. Noah Jones doesn't have a front wing for something else to report on.
Yeah, no, I think might have spun coming out of turn number 3, perhaps. Looking where he is on the mini-map, he's definitely going slow through that section of the track. Tom on the back of Jensen. For me, I think Fleddy should have backed out that move. Simple as that. He was on the inside line for turn number 3. What do you expect when you're on the inside line of turn number 3? Rudy's gone very deep in towards turn number 10, turn 11 even, and now look at the Constantino effect and behind. Lynx tries to go down the inside of Tom. Zoidimer's passing Steph. Jensen is going to pass Rudy. Tom possibly could get a double toe here, and it could well be 3 wide down the straight. Jensen now gets the DRS open. Rudy's going to be swallowed up by the pack as now Tom pulls the inside line, gives him plenty of room, and these guys know how to fight. Jensen through and he's into 8th. Tom now through surely and he's into 9th. He does get the move done down the inside line, and now they're in a net lead and net P2 currently. The medium runners, Jensen and Tom, they're just going to pull away. Obviously, Rudy and Lynx, if they stay within a second, they're going to be right on the back. It's the corners, though, through the middle sector, which will worry me with Rudy and Lynx on that sort of hards. They're not going to lie up to the pace, I think, now with Jensen and Tom. It's as simple as that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're more than a second away from each other at the end of the lap, as I think we've got a spinner, that is Metty C around, and Smalley has been overtaken by Chris as well. I think Smalley made a mistake out of turn 5.
Yeah, I think Smalley did as well, because Chris got around kind of relatively easy there, so Chris takes position from Smalley. But yeah, Jensen and Tom made that overcut work very potently, and now Rudy and Lynx are wondering, well, what do we do now? We're on the set of hards, we were supposed to go to the end, and now Joe Jones retires to the pit lane, so from second on the grid to here, trial by fire did not really work well for Noah Jones here, but he'll have a break week coming up, get readjusted, and hopefully it doesn't deter him coming back here. But yeah, Noah Jones did have some good pace here, just needs to kind of get his racecraft up a little bit. As we cut through to see what else is going on through the pack here, we do got Smalley and Chris still fighting, and we got Chicken on the back of Steph here, but I don't think Chicken will even make anything close here. So I think we're in a bit of a lull period here right now. No one really close to make anything happen, and we're just kind of just waiting it out here to see until the next pit stops hit. But you never know. Maybe Smalley gets a little bit overly pushy on Chris or Chicken on Steph, and someone makes a mistake. Who knows? But as Hyper, I think he gets the first 3 seconds of the race, which shocks me. We're 12 laps in, and this is the first time it happened.
Dives it down the inside of Rudy. Rudy forced out wide there. I think he took the outside line, though, as Chris has picked up a 3-second penalty. I think he took the outside line to maybe get the DRS coming out of the final corner. That's exactly what he's going to have, but he's nowhere near to the back of Lynx. Lynx just dived that down the inside line. It would look close enough coming out of turn 13. Didn't think he would go for the move. I thought they were just going to sit and wait him behind. But now, they've obviously attacked each other. And Lynx now in 9th, Rudy in 10th. I think Tom, he looked very, very on the limit there, coming through turn number 3. I thought he was down the inside line as Daniel has spun again out on track. It's an absolute disaster race for Daniel out on track. There's a Haas just gone wide just in front as well of Jensen. And I think that was... Who is in front of...
It wasn't Hyper, so it had to be Carlsby. But Carlsby's behind.
Yeah, it was... I thought I saw a Haas there. That's strange. Yeah. Unless it was Smalley. I think Smalley might have run wide. He's the only car ahead. Yeah, I think it is, because there's the red on, and I saw white, and I thought, yeah, it's a Haas. But it's not
got a prime white, so you could have easily saw that on point, so no harm, no foul. But, yeah, as we kind of go through, I think Tom may make a lunge here sooner rather than later. He's kind of hounding the back of Jensen. I think Jensen's like, all right, I'm going to take this conservative here, don't use my stuff. Well, I think Tom maybe wants to be the leader of this pack, kind of sensing that, because remember, if we go back a week ago to Britain, Jensen was kind of lolling in second behind Rudy, and then Tom was like, all right, you want to low behind? I'm going to strike. He got around Jensen and then set himself up for the move on Rudy, because if not, I think Jensen was waiting for that last lap. So Jensen, I think his main kryptonite is he waits a little bit too long to make a move, and that helps him in some situations, but with Tom being someone that's, I would say overly aggressive, but someone that wants to go for that move, wants to see when it goes, if he sees an opportunity, he's going for it, I think Jensen has to be at his toes here. I think Tom is a different beast, and if Jensen leaves the door open, I think Tom may throw it down because he knows I may not get a better opportunity with the current cream of the crop of TTML F1. So Jensen has to keep on his toes here. With Tom getting a bad exit, though, I think Jensen will at least be okay for at least one more corner at the very least.
Do you know how I said, by the way, that that Lynx and Rudy would be a second off the back of Jensen and Tom? I was completely right in saying that, because they were a second and a half off each other, and now they're 2.5 seconds of each other. So if you think the mediums are a second quicker than the set of hard compound tyres at this stage, and Jensen and Tom have still got a good 6 or 7 laps running before those tyres actually do start to wear off. So Jensen and Tom are going to be possibly 10 seconds ahead in a few laps' time. And I'm not even beating around the bush by saying that, because I think they will be. Jensen and Tom, 7th and 8th position, doing a good job. I'm on board with Rudy at the minute on the back of Lynx. I don't think he's going to be close enough to Mercedes on the back of the McLaren at this stage. Really hope you're enjoying the stream, by the way. If you are, you can follow and subscribe, of course. And there is 20% off in terms of subscribing to TTML, to the Masters League channel, of course.
Ooh,
And that is because, as Daniel
has
has retired into the pit lane, that is because we've become a Twitch affiliate in the past couple of days for reaching more than 50 subscribers. So well done to us all, and well done to all of you guys at home for following us and subscribing. Every single amount of support, whether you're new, whether you're old to TTML, absolutely works out an absolute treat, and I cannot thank you enough for the support and the love that you've shown TTML in the past, as Tom has set the fastest lap of the race. Steph, though, and Funky Chicken on the back of Zoidimer. Zoidimer now is beginning to struggle in terms of his tyres. Steph and Funky Chicken are on the back of him, and Zoidimer there in second is only 1.4 seconds off the back of Hyper for the race lead. I think this battle for second could get quite interesting, as Steph makes a really bad mistake coming out of turn 6.
I think Zoidimer kind of pushed his tires a little bit too hard there to try to get the hyper, because the gap I think was 2 seconds, and now it's 1.4. So Zoidimer pushed a little bit aggressive to try to get it, and now he's reaping what he sowed here as Chicken and Steph. But Chicken and Steph were fighting pretty hard, so I'm shocked their tires are holding up as well as they did. But we also got Jensen and Tom catching Smalley and Chris, the two lone hard runners that started on those hards, that haven't pitted yet, and they have caught them. So, again, same song, different verse. Verse 4, as we've seen, Jensen has caught traffic and was able to kind of carve his way through it quickly, while the car behind him has kind of struggled. So we'll see if Jensen can make those moves quickly, or can Tom follow suit, or will he get kind of stuck behind? So we're going to come down the long straight here. I think Jensen's going to make it as smooth as well. Oh, Jensen gets a snap there. I think Tom's going to have a chance to make a lunge here. He's going to have DRS here, but Jensen's also going to have it off Smalley. Here he comes. I think we see a move here. Tom going down the inside. How aggressive will be on the brakes? Will Smalley be a pick for one of them? Tom going to go for the lunge, and he's going to take the insider. Smalley going to block off Jensen, and Jensen's going to get better traction, though. You are correct. And now he's going to have the inside corner. And yeah, Tom just didn't get the right traction there. Had the inside, but couldn't really complete it because of maybe Smalley was just the pick Jensen needed. But here comes Tom again. Going to answer back into corner 1. Here he goes again. He's not going to take no for an answer. Down the inside, he's going to have the line. Jensen's going to have the traction around the outside. They touch. They're going to split the Alfa Romeo. Tom going for it. He's going to try it. He's going to hang it on the outside. Smalley, will he back down? It reminds me of Lynx and Jensen, and Tom's going to make it work. That is a beauty. I think Jensen's going to get a little PTSD. He's like, I should be making those moves, not you. What are you doing, Tom? It's now Chris. Oh, they touch. And Chris is going to pull all the way, knowing that I don't want to interfere with this. I'm just go.
I think Chris made a mistake in that, actually. I think he got very sideways out of turn 6. He caught the outside curve, and that is why he's now behind Jensen. Smalley there in 8. But can we just take a moment to witness what we have just seen? Tom, through the final sector, side by side with Jensen, entirely through turn number 1, and then he had the audacity and the bravery and the absolute balls to go down the inside line of Smalley into turn number 2. I've never seen a 3-wide scenario nearly in towards turn number 2 in all my life of commentating around here in China. Goodness knows what we're going to see later on in the race. But Tom is now getting closed in by Jensen, and Jensen's going to repay the favour, and Tom lets him through, and that's tactical from Tom. He waits in behind now on Jensen. They've got to be very careful, though, because Chris and Smalley are latching onto the back of their queue. They're going to be in for a set of soft compound size as Chokers retired from the session. They might deploy a safety car. Possibly. It's well off track, though. I don't think we're going to get anything for that. I don't think.
As Tom did trigger one, though, on lap 1, but yeah, I think it would have pulled by now, so I think you are correct in that assumption. Yeah, well off track. So yeah, nothing going to happen here. But honestly, one other thing I did want to point out, though, is Jensen at about 18% ERS, Tom about 560, and a couple laps ago it was 3080. So Tom is really saving his resources here, so he strikes when the move is hot and the kettle is optional, but I think he's just kind of tucking behind Jensen, maybe playing the long game, maybe playing Jensen's strategy for him.
Definitely so, as I was just taking a drink there. Jokers has left the session. He has retired out on track. Unfortunately, he crashed, of course, coming through, I think, turn number 7. He was basically off on the infield where the gravel was, I think. So that is why he's now down, obviously, right at the backfield and DNFing out of this race. Unfortunate for Chalkers. Tom, though, on the back of Jensen. We saw these two battle it out, and it became very tactical in Britain last time out. I think it's going to be even more tactical, with even more of the race still to go here in China. Tom has used up, what, 30% of EOS. He's got 70% remaining. Jensen has to try and get Tom out of the slipstream range. Slipstream range is around 8 tenths, 9 tenths per second around here, but I think everything is now beginning to settle down. As I say that, though, I think Smalley is going to be on the back of Chris, down in towards turn number 14. Alfa Romeo on the back of the Williams, and it's not in the end close enough as Chris has completely buggered that up. Coming through turn number 14, and just about gets the car controlled enough to stay ahead in P7 and P8. Yeah, so Steph has got past on Hyper, so Steph is throwing he's into the lead of the race. Here comes Smalley, though, on the back of Chris, and again, probably one of the easiest moves you'll ever see. Oh, and there's a bit of contact, actually, between them both. There was a bit of hand of rage there. Not sure what Smalley was actually thinking. There was plenty of room to the right-hand side. Obviously, Stewart won't have a look at that. He's got the move done. But, really, giving another driver lack of room just comes to show you haven't really got any decency in terms of racecraft.
Yeah, and it shows a little bit of a respect latch, where if you drive aggressively, other drivers will kind of be aggressive to you, and it's something that you reap if you sow. And Smalley may have to watch for payback down the road with Chris, where Chris may kind of run him a little bit as well, hard as well. So, yeah, Smalley, again, you reap what you sow, and yeah, we'll see how that pays off. But yeah, all that battling with Jensen and Tom, they are going to be the de facto leaders, but yeah, they weren't technically leaders as Steph and Hyper are still fighting. Zoidman has caught the back along with Funky Chicken, and Jensen and Tom are about 7 back on those boys. And we know the top 4 will have to pit again. Smalley and Chris will have to pit again. The question mark is, will Jensen and Tom maybe try something? As No Jones has just left, but he's been retired for a long time. Because we know Lynx and Rudy, who are currently about, calculations tell me, 2.5, 3 seconds behind Jensen and Tom. And we know he can probably make it to the end, because we know about 22 laps. They're on 11-lap old tires. Another lap, they'll be good to go to the end. But what about Jensen and Tom? Is now Hyper comes in, so he'll pit here from the lead. Well, was in the lead, now technically in second. Now pit from second position. But Jensen and Tom, my question mark is, will they try to make those mediums work, or will they try to pit for one set of soft tire stuff? If they pit for the softs, can they recover well enough to get back to the lead? Because I don't know if that will be the case.
They won't. They won't, because look at Steph, Zoidman, and Funky Chicken and behind. F2, I only saw drivers go 12, 13 laps, so I'm really surprised, actually, that drivers are managing 18 laps on a set of mediums. They're going to be screaming out at this point. And that is why I think Jensen and Tom have produced an absolute tactical masterclass. I will correct you on the battle, by the way, the gap between Tom and Lynx. The gap is 4.5 seconds, just to be exact on that. Tom and Lynx, 4.5 seconds, but now they're latching onto the back of the Smalley Chris train, so they're going to be in a bit of traffic very soon indeed, and Lynx obviously does want to get this move done. They're on that set of hard compounded tyres. They're going to be losing more time as the race goes on, and the McLaren, they're in 8th position, Rudy, they're in 9th. It just has not looked right for them. They should have pitted later on if they must, and looking back on hindsight, they should have pitted when Jensen and Tom did, because otherwise I think there would have been a 4-way battle for the lead of the race. And now Tom, on the back of Jensen, in towards turn number 14. I don't think he's going to be close enough down in towards turn 14. Yeah, he's closing, but he's not close enough, and he remains in P4 for now. Jamie, by the way, in the comment section now saying, mediums are quick and last a while, learnt it from yesterday. See, I didn't see this, as Chris and Lynx have made more contact coming out of turn number, what was that, 14, 15.
I don't have my track map up.
Lynx on the back of Chris, though, and now Rudy's on the back of this 14, as well.
15.
And look at 14,
Rudy. 50 here. Oh, yeah, Rudy, can he make a move on that? Williams is going to go
no way, no!
Oh, he thought about it. He was like, no.
Chris is fighting on. He shouldn't have done that.
Nope. Well, there goes Chris. Chris is just going to be turned the wrong way around. He'll get it refired, but he's going to fall behind Hyper. Well, he's going to get caught by Hyper here, so yeah. Chris maybe wants to pit here and probably try to just get back through this, because I think his race has been kind of shot by that maneuver here. But we do got Rudy and Lynx still kind of there. And we got Tom. But yeah, I think, like you said, Jensen and Tom either read the strategy report from yesterday and are like, let's take this through. Or it was a situation where Lynx and Rudy just thought, our tires aren't going to make it another 2 laps. We have to pit now. And maybe they thought they'd get more time out of it. But yeah, kind of open. It's kind of shocking that with this late in the game cycle, you still see strategies change this much. So good on Tom and Jensen for maybe reading the meta and getting the strategy right here at the very least. But yeah, Hyper is currently in P, and actually something we could worth noting is see what time Hyper can put down, as he's on a new set of soft tires along with Steph. So we'll see if how
comes
much of
Tom.
a fast lap they can get as Tom's making a move on Jensen.
Yep, down the inside line. He has literally no second thinking about that. Tom is through, and he's into the net lead of the race. Jensen, though, is going to fight, and this is going to be the fight now for the race being right to the checkered flag, because Tom and Jensen, two very, very clean drivers, they respect each other, and this is going to be the ultimate show of respect for the next 9 laps or so. You're just going to be seeing these two going hammer and tongs. Speaking of which, Jensen down the inside and towards turn number 1 repays the favour on Tom, and this is literally what you're just going to see, possibly until the final 2 laps of the race, and then whoever the driver is behind, either Jensen or Tom, if the driver is behind, they're going to obviously make their move later. They've got that card to play very late on, possibly down in towards turn 14. That is where it'll be decided, I think. Final lap of the race. It is looking, though, like a Jensen and Tom demolition job, with Lynx 5.5 seconds behind and still losing time because he's got Smalley, who, to be fair, to be credit, is looking quite quick on that set of hard compounded tyres. He's just on the wrong strategy call. He's down there in 5th as that Black Box is now retired into the pit lane. So that's unfortunate for Black Box, but Smalley there in 5th, doing a good job. He has shown pace. Obviously, he's losing time now to Jensen and Tom, but compared to Jensen and Tom, he's actually not losing as much time as what I might think. But Lynx and Rudy now, on that fresh hard compounded tyres, as Black Box's AI is coming out the pit lane. Really do not know why that hasn't been fixed at this point. But Lynx on the back of Smalley, coming out of turn 13. Is he going to think about going for the move down in towards 14? Judging by the ERS he's using, yes, he's going to think about it, but I don't think he's got any ERS. He's got the deployment running he's flatlining down the straight, and now in towards the Lynx has just got to do a job now of waiting and behind Smalley, front to in, Zoidema and Funky Chicken promotes Jensen and Tom to lead the race. And speaking of Tom, he's right on the back of Jensen again, in towards turn number 1. Don't think he's going to be close enough this time around, and Jensen holds the lead from Tom in 2nd. Zoidema there in 3rd, obviously came in the pit lane, but Smalley about to be overtaken by Lynx to the inside of turn number 1. Can Lynx fight it down the inside line? Will this be an Eye of a Tiger moment as Lynx now down the inside of turn number 1 through 2, now to the left-hander of 3. Smalley, to be credit though, is absolutely fighting this back, and Lynx now on the outside line, shooting with the traction, is going to have the better run. He uses up the ERS. That should be job done. Smalley though might think about going this move back down the inside line. He doesn't. Rudy's going to be in this to try and pick up the pieces in their battle, but Lynx is doing his into 3rd. Smalley in 4th, and to be fair to Smalley, he absolutely deserved to fight that position. That was a really good defensive fight. Obviously, he came up short in the end, but Smalley knows how to battle and he knows how to defend.
Yeah, that was a good battle there. We'll see if Rudy can make a move here as well. I do have one point I do want to bring up here, but I think Rudy may make a move, so I will hold that point for a second here to see what happens down this long straight on 11, 12, and 13 respectively. I think you just saw something. Anything worth reporting real fast?
Hyper on a sort of soft compounded tyre, right on the back of Fleddy and Colesbury. He's not too far for podium here.
No, he's not. As we'll cut back to Rudy here for a second here, as Rudy's going to get a good toe. Smalley goes a little bit wide. Rudy, though, get a deadline down the straight, but they're both basically at the same ERS, and that is something I do want to bring up here, as we do see Rudy makes a pass successfully. He'll probably just outlunge him here down the long straight here. Can Smalley make anything happen?
Oh my god! Hyper to the inside line! Oh. Sorry to cut you off, it's 3 wide in towards 10-14, and Hyper gets both of them down the inside line. That was a phenomenal move by Hyper, obviously on the fresh set of softs, but he's through and he's into 6th. That took bravery and commitment as if I've never seen it before. Hyper through and he's into 6th. Colesbury and Fleddy are making a bit of contact with Colesbury, and look at Steph. Steph is now involved in this battle. It's his first race of the season, and he's in 8th position, and if he latches onto the back of Hyper, he may well be trying a podium as he dives it to the inside of turn number 3. That is an absolute ridiculous move. He can pull it off. He's on the outside now at 3. Colesbury again making a bit of contact with Steph with the traction around the outside. That is pure perfection from Steph. He is through and he's into 7th. Colesbury into 8th. What experience do you need in TTML F1 as he cuts off Colesbury at the pass. Steph through and he's into 7th. What experience do you need? First race of the season here in TTML F1, and he's just showing like he turned up for the last 7 seasons. Stephen through and he's into 7th. Brilliant stuff.
Yep. Brilliant move. I think the one thing worth noting is Zoidema and Chicken maybe waited a little bit too long on those mediums, went a little tall, maybe hoping for a safety car because they were in that same pack along with Steph and Hyper. Now, Steph and Hyper, 6th, 7th, could be knocking on the door for the podium. They make the tires work because they're only 2 seconds back of Smalley, which is only about 8 tenths back of Rudy and Lynx. So they could play the cards right. They could be on a podium while Zoidema and Chicken maybe kicking themselves. They went a little bit too long on the tires. But now that we kind of got a quick lull as well, actually, hold on, Tom going to make a move down the long straight. I want to say my point, but I can't get it done yet as we got Tom.
Go for it
making
now.
a move on Jensen. Well, I think Jensen may make a move back here, so we'll have to wait and see if Jensen answers back here on Tom. As we see on long straights, we saw it happen. Tom made the move, Jensen answered back. Tom made the move, Jensen answered back. Now here comes Tom again. Will Jensen make the lunge on? No, he will not. So now I will say my point is that Battle of the ERS is when we saw that battle a couple laps ago, where we saw Smalley, Rudy, and Lynx battling. They all were deadlining. You say there'll be a move down in corner 14, 15.
Steph around the outside of Hyper through turn 1. I'm sorry to cut you off again. That is absolutely ridiculous from Steph. He's absolutely centered around the outside on the brakes. That is the best move I think I've seen all season. Absolute cleanliness to perfection. That is the move of the season. Steph threw and he's into 5th. Hyper gave so much room on the outside line. Steph just waltzed around, and then he was on the inside line for turn number 2. That was an insane move by Steph. He's through and he's into 5th, and possibly now for a podium, because he's flying.
You know, I can't even be mad. That was a good bass there. I gotta let that one go. That was a good call there. I think we're good now, so I can finally, unless Fleddy wants to do something in Carlsby. But I'll finish my point here and say this, is that with the deadlining problem, if Jensen has luckily saved a lot of ERS back, but a couple laps ago, Tom was about 100, Jensen was about 40, but now Jensen's saving his stuff up, so I don't think there'll be any risk of deadlining here. So whoever is that second car could be in a situation to make it happen. But I think it's something to watch out for. If you wait too long or get a bad exit, you may not be able to make move 14, so you may have to make your move a bit earlier than corner 14. And now we got Smalley and Boss Wanted fighting in the back. Smalley makes a move on Boss Wanted, and we got Fleddy and Carlsby fighting here as well. Fleddy down the inside. I'm glad I got my point finished, as now Fleddy makes it up to 7th. Carlsby down to 8th. But yeah, Hyper and Steph just playing that strategy to perfection at the very least, and they're 2 back on Rudy. The question is, can the tires hold?
I'm sorry, Jamie, for scaring you in the comment section there. I had to cover that, though. That was an insane move around the outside. I know he's on a set of soft compound tyres. I mean, to be fair, he's only on a lap fresher compared to Hyper. And as if he's just literally joined the race. He's through and he's into 5th. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to reel from that, I think, in my sleep later on. That was insane. Carlsby on the back of Fleddy. Obviously, Fleddy's just got the move done, but they've got to watch out behind, because Zoidman and Funky Chicken, you mentioned about flatlining. I think they're not going to be flatlining with 60% of ERS at this stage, because Funky Chicken and Zoidman on the back, and potentially we could get a move around the outside of turn number 7. Zoidman was nowhere near close enough to the back of Carlsby. Coming through turn number 7, we should expect a move, I think, through turn 7 at some point in the later stage of this race. But Tom leading the way, Jensen in 2nd, Lynx there in 3rd. Jamie has clipped the points where I've just scared him and probably shouted and probably scared the 16 people that are probably watching, including
you
me.
Gave me a little bit. I was like, in my point, and you go, oh, I'm like, oh, something's happening. All right, let him go, let him go. Like, you didn't scare me, but I was like a situation like, okay, something's happening. Let's see what's going on.
His chicken on the back of Zoidman. Zoidman now is going to pull out the slipstream along Carlsby, and Funky Chicken is not going to go for the move at all here, as now Zoidman pulls to the inside line. Carlsby very stoic in his defence, pulls to the outside line, and Zoidman should get this move done. Has got the move done. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Beautiful move by Zoidman, and he's through and he's into 8th. And he's obviously reserved the AlphaTauri driver as well, as now Funky Chicken on the back of Carlsby, running down in towards turn number 1, of course. The Haas in front is now under pressure, and once again, Carlsby is just putting up a real fake defence. Zoidman dives it down the inside line of Fleddy in towards turn number 1, and he should get this move done down the inside line. Really good stuff there by Fleddy. How's Carlsby back on the inside line, by the way? He's on the outside of turn number 3. How the hell is he fighting this back? Carlsby on 18 lap-old hards against Funky Chicken on 3 lap-old softs. It should be Chicken getting the move done, but in fact it's going to be Carlsby on the brakes. What a move! And now Funky Chicken doesn't get the run out of turn number 6, and he kips to the curb, and Carlsby's through and he's into 9th. Really good battle, that.
I was about to say, I think we may have saw that move into 7 if Chicken could have kept the traction down, but yeah, Carlsby holds on. So again, Carlsby just showing that we saw it with Smalley as well, is if you put your car in the right spot and those hards can work, you can make it work successfully. So yeah, Carlsby making it work. I think he may be a little bit of sitting duck here sooner rather than later on that long straight, but Carlsby at least prolongs maybe the inevitable here, unless Chicken is, Carlsby gets a little squirrely, blocks off Chicken there a little bit. Chicken nowhere to go, as I think we see Jensen and Tom fighting for the lead here. No, never mind, sorry. False alarm, as we see Chicken here going to make a move on Carlsby.
Should be easy.
Yeah, easily done here, as Chicken going to get a toe down, 27 ERS to Carlsby 6. So
how's he still fighting this? He's on the outside line.
He's
got to get the switch back.
Oh, no, gets a little squirrely off exit, though. If he didn't spin the rears there, that is now Tom actually makes a move on Jensen, so wasn't false alarm when I called it, but yeah, all the way around. Jensen makes a move in the 1.
And Rudy on links as well. Links. Yeah, and towards turn number 1, just cut that, and Rudy through, and he's into 3, and into P3. I can't even get my words out again. Rudy through, and he's into P3, coming through turn number 1.
Steph is currently a second back on links and Rudy with 3 to go here. So we may see Steph make more masterclass here as they're catching links and Rudy at a pace. Hyper has 3, remember, so even if he catches them, but yeah, Hyper's even dropped off Steph. So Steph, for being a new driver, trial by fire, baptism by fire, as you said, he is a second back of Lynx and Rudy, who have been the second to third best, or second to fourth, depending on who you ask, drivers this season. And Steph, similar to what happened last week at Tom, Steph is just saying, all right, I'm here, this is what I'm going to show.
2 things that are concerning me, though. Pace, because the softs are now beginning to drop off, and ERS. He's got 10% of ERS at this stage in the race. Ideally, you need 40-50%, I think.
Yeah, but Lynx and Rudy also have about 20 themselves, so it's not that much of a swing, so he should be at least okay on that front. Probably wants to save a little bit of resources, but with the softs cliffing sooner rather than later, he can't sit around to find out and save that ERS. He had to use all of it to get close, to even have a chance at this podium. And if Rudy and Lynx touch, it may open the door for them, as now Zoidem and Hyper, as I think something's happened to Fleddy, as I think he's got a puncture. Or maybe not. No puncture.
No, he got overtaken.
Oh, he did? Because he was really slow there. 2 cars passed on my screen, Hyper and Chicken, so that's what kind of threw me off there. So, again, another false alarm, but Lynx gets it through for multiple warnings. It actually makes it easier for Steph. One less car he has to pass on track. As long as he get behind Rudy, that podium is his.
Yeah, definitely so. Rudy's obviously now beginning to back up Lynx, and Fleddy, by the way, I think he just backed off purely down towards turn number 14 and Funky Chicken and got that move done, and he's into 8th position. Jensen, though, and Tom. This is now the main battle. Tom is not putting his cards all on the table at this stage. As Jamie has said, Tom and Jensen both have DRS. It's really who's behind that will win. Tom, though, is out of the dirty air now. 0.6 of a second. He's beginning to lose time to the back of Jensen. He doesn't want to lose time at this point in the race because this is going to be so critical. These next couple of corners will really count. He will be within a second. It's just how much he's going to be within a second. If he's more than 0.6 away, Jensen possibly could have the win. Tom, though, 0.6 behind, is on the bubble to try and get the win, but they're going to have DRS down the straight, luckily.
If Jensen is cheeky, does he maybe back it up and let Tom go? That could be a point where he lets him up, here off 1 here, and then nose goes down the long straight. If he thinks he's faster, maybe let him go, but that's also signing your own will and testament, because if you don't get back around, you just gave up the lead for nothing, as Tom will not make anything happen at the very least, but I wouldn't be shocked if Jensen maybe lets Tom go here, and let Tom lead, and then Jensen answers back. Steph is caught the back at Lynx here. Thought about making a lunge there. He's getting impatient as we hit the final lap of this race. Back up to the battle for the lead here. Does Tom go for the move? Does Tom sit behind? I think Tom thinks he wants to be down the straight here. He likes his odds to be in the lead, but Jensen going to hang it around the outside. We know Jensen's stronger at the corners, the middle section here, but Tom is, they're still side by side here. Tom going to have the inside corner here. Jensen going to have the traction. Who's going to get the better toe out? I think it's going to be Jensen for now, but Tom's going to have the better traction, and I think Tom's going to take the lead here on the last lap of the race, with Tom going to have the lead for now, but is that what Jensen wants? Is Jensen playing into the hands of Tom here, or the vice versa? It's mind games at the poker table as we're in Sector 2, and we'll see what pays off as Lynx and Steph are pretty close as well, so we got 2 battles for a lot of spots here.
Yeah, we'll try and focus on that. We'll go on that, but the lead, though, Jensen on the back of Tom, coming now through turn 9 and 10. Jensen, the Brit, against his fellow countryman Tom. Tom is really on the limit, but Jensen has got very low fuel. I am probably thinking, is it going to be like Nick Houston in that TTML F2 where he led the race into the final couple of corners and then ran out of fuel and finished in the end off the podium? Tom leading the way. Jensen now has got to go for broke. He is now going to lay all of the cards on the table, but Tom, I think, has got the straight line speed. Jensen is not pulling into this gap. He's now to the outside line, but Tom, I think, is still going to be side by side in towards turn 14. Tom absolutely sends it down the inside on the AlphaTauri against the Red Bull. The Red Bull, though, is going to come out on top. top. Jensen around the final couple of corners. It's still side by side. And now Jensen through the final corner. He's going to run out of fuel though. He's nearly running out of fuel at the final corner. But Jensen to the line. Wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Tom picks up a penalty late on that might get removed, judging by the battle. Steph, by the way, is under pressure from Zoidimer. Lynx is going to finish third, I think. No, Rudy's going to finish third with the penalties. Yep. Rudy will finish in third. Steph in fourth. Zoidimer in fifth. How did Zoidimer get onto the back of them guys right at the end? Lynx in the end is only 0.15 of a second ahead of Funky Chicken. Both Hassers, by the way, came across the line together as well. Hyper and Carlsbury coming across the line there. What a finish that was. Jensen wins. Tom in second. Jensen played his hand literally at the last second, and you can rewind that stream back until about the halfway stage where I said whoever's behind in towards turn 14 on the final lap of the race, it's got to come down to that, and it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you were 100% correct there. I thought maybe because a mistake could be made in that middle section, you could screw yourself, but yeah, Jensen had the pace, and I don't think Jensen let him by, but I think Jensen definitely is like, all right, if you get by, that's fine, just battle close enough so I can make sure you get close. But I was watching that second battle there between Rudy, Steph, and Lynx. Lynx got around, and Steph was this close to throwing a move on Rudy, but Rudy just closed the door, and there was nowhere for Steph to go. If Steph was just an inch closer, we could be talking about Steph in his debut race being on the top last step of the podium, but it will be Rudy there today. So our top three is going to be Jensen, Tom, and Rudy. So Kermit was kind of right about that in his prediction, but not 100%. But I think your safe prediction was correct. The two drivers that were up there, sometimes it's good to bet on all the rivals, they would say.
It's unfortunate I got them the wrong way around, though, because I said Tom for the win and Jensen for second. Terrible, Jensen. I hate you. I really do hate you for that. But Jensen takes the win here in TTML F1. And, of course, he extends his championship lead in this championship, of course, going into the break week. And obviously, I don't think he'll want a break week, to be honest, given the form that he's in. But Jensen takes yet another win. I think that's a bit of retribution, I've got to say, for last week as well in the feature race. Well, obviously, Tom was a lot quicker than Jensen. Jensen, arguably, both around the same pace. In the end, not really a 3-second time penalty separated. I think Tom might look into getting that removed because he was very wide coming out the final corner. But Jensen takes the win here in China. Tom there in second. It is a British one too as well. Rudy there in third. Steph, I've got to say, on debut, drove an absolute sensational race. I think he's my driver of the day, if I've got to be honest. He finished there in fourth, drove a phenomenal race. Zoidimer there in fifth. Lynx there in sixth. Funky Chicken in seventh. Fleddy in eighth. Hyper in ninth. Carlsbury ran off the top 10. Smalley picked up the fastest lap point in 11th. Boss Wanted in 12th. Chris in 13th. MedTC 14th. 6 DNFs out of this race. Black Box Chokers, Daniel, Noah and Khan. 5 DNFs. I can't count. But Jensen takes the win. Shall we try and get the top 3 in?
I added to the party. They can join wherever they wish. Hopefully they actually added them. I'll make sure real fast. I added them and then said, do you want to go back to the old party they were in? Because it's the same podium we had a season, I think it was last round. So that's why I was like, do you want to join this one? So hopefully they do get in here. If not, I've made a mistake. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we'll just wait it out here. I'll just make sure they're added. Yeah, Rudy, Jensen, and Tom. They are added so they can join whenever they wish.
Good. Hopefully we'll be able to get all 3 in. I know Jensen and Tom are normally up for interviews after that. They'll probably be talking about how sweaty that was in the final couple of laps of the race there. Judging by that race, it was phenomenal. And I said, honestly, both of them were on the pace. They were even. You couldn't split them. And in the end, tactics came into play. Jensen was the driver behind Tom, and in the end, he obviously took that race win just by judging, basically by playing his cards right at the last second. Like a game of poker, he wins the race, of course. Tom there finishing in second and Rudy in third, and hopefully we will get a top 3 in, as we can now speak to our race winner. It is Shazoo Jensen, and Jensen, another race win this season. You had to work for that one, though. Tom kept you completely honest. You were both very, very similar in terms of the pace. In the end, tactics came into play, and you played your cards very late in the day and took the win. Talk us through it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, not the easiest of races. Of course, qualifying was, yeah, got that very, very wrong at the end. And yeah, P4 wasn't the greatest, and of course you saw like, yeah, it wasn't a great opening few laps. We lost DRS to Tom at first. Through the guys, but I tried to pick them off one by one. I think Fleddy made contact with me, but yeah, I don't know what was going on. there. But yeah, just tried overtaking everyone, getting to Tom, managed to pass him, managed to drag the tyres out. Everyone else went a different strategy, so that kind of put us into like a 2-horse race, because yeah, soft, medium, clear, and yeah, pretty much we had a good little final lap scrap or sector 1, and then yeah, I think coming the end of sector 1 I was close enough, I'll be able to keep with him and get him on the straight, and I just managed to do that, and he tried sending it back up the inside, but I just about held it. But yeah, it was great fun.
Yeah, great fun indeed, and obviously I think the level of respect you both showed as well, like, to each other out on track, was absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of the best one-to-one battles I think we've seen all season as well. But that is another race win for you. Obviously, I said in commentary right at the end there, it's a bit of retribution from the feature race, and I think that's probably justified.
Yeah, it should have been P2, at least, but the stewards decided to not take any action on it, so yeah, of course I was pretty annoyed, but yeah, come back in this race, so it's not too bad at all now.
I mean, you're not hurting for points, so...
No, but...
True, it's principle. Yeah, it's principle, but...
Yeah, definitely. So, Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
I guess with the actually, you know, I'll go for the safer answer here. With the break week coming in full swing, I guess what are you going to do during your off week here? That no TTML is up this Sunday, so what are you going to do this weekend? Oh, next weekend.
Don't know. Yeah, don't know at all. I'm probably missing Austria due to an event. But yeah, just focus on all the other leagues, I guess.
Fair enough. So you can use that time to kind of get shoved in with other leagues. Okay, that's cool. Though. Forgetting your name for a second, James.
James.
I was thinking
Jensen.
Tom for some reason. No, I was going to say James. Do you have any other questions? I was going to say James. I was thinking Tom for a second. I'm like, his name's not Tom. It's James. James, do you have any more questions?
I don't have any more questions, funny enough. But fantastic race. Absolutely deserved that race. When go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, and cheers for the commentary as always.
Very welcome indeed, and my voice, and Pepsi's voice has probably gone as well. My voice even more so after that final lap of the race. We now speak to Tom, of course, finishing in second, and Tom on the receiving end, of course, of that overtake around the outside of turn 14 in the end. But I've got to say, congratulations on that P2. You made it really difficult for Jensen. Did you feel that you were going to have the win down towards turn 14?
Well, I mean, as soon as he sort of like stayed right behind me, I sort of knew it was over as soon as we got out of sector 1. But like, my only opportunity was to like try and battle him so that he wouldn't get too far away, but then I ended up ahead, and so like, yeah, it was just too easy for him in the last straight, because I knew in the middle sector he was going to be so much faster than me, because his tyre wear was just a lot less than mine, as it was in the first stint. But yeah, I had loads of ERS, but it's never good enough against DRS, which is quite annoying, but I had to try something.
Yeah, you had to try something, and obviously, I think it was the penultimate lap of the race, you dived it down the inside of turn number 1 as well, and in the end, you obviously took the lead as a result, I think, down towards turn 6. Looking back on hindsight, do you feel that was the wrong move?
Nah, because if I would have stayed behind, he would have pulled like a whole 6 or 7 tenths in the middle sector, because he was so much faster than me with the fresher tyres, and I wouldn't have had the straight line speed to get close enough to make a clean enough move into the hairpin. It probably would have been a bit of a dive and a bit risky, so I kind of wanted to be ahead and see if my battery would keep me ahead, but I didn't. It was close, but I didn't.
Yeah, I still think, though, the level of respect that both of you shown, I think, each other out on track, as I say, probably the best one-to-one battle I think we've seen all season as well. So that, I think, takes a lot of credit to both of you, I think, in terms of that. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
I guess I got 2 here, so I'll start with the first one, is that after Britain, you've seemed to find that form, or that cherry to form, as they would say. And we're going into an off week here. But what are you going to try to do? Because you've been really strong here. So do you think you can keep that pace going throughout the rest of this calendar? Do you think you can keep that going, battling?
Yeah, I think me and Jensen are going to be fighting pretty much every race. Considering China was one of my weakest tracks, but I put quite a bit of time into it. Not this week, but like before a few other leagues. And I think Portugal's my other weakest track, but all the other ones I feel me and Jensen will be fighting. But Jensen's probably a bit too consistent to, for me to catch him up in the championship, but I will try.
He is missing around in Austria, and you never know. Sometimes it could be a situation like, I hate to say this with Rudy in the party, but with Rudy in Spain, where Rudy went wrong way around. So things can change, so I'd keep your form up there. But actually, I think I'm good on my question. So, James, do you have anything else you want to ask?
Nothing at all that comes to my mind, certainly. Go and enjoy your evening, Tom.
Thank you.
Very welcome indeed, and we'll now move on to the man, of course, who finished in P3 and probably just vaguely saw that battle ahead of him, finishing in P3 in the end, of course.
Well, he had
Rudy,
his own battle to worry about, so...
Yeah, little specks, I think, down the straight, perhaps. But Rudy finishing in P3, good drive from you. You came under a lot of pressure in the final laps of the race as well, obviously with a lot of soft runners, Steph and Zoidum especially in behind, on that set of soft compound tyres. Did you feel that you were going to be outnumbered in terms of how many drivers were behind you coming towards the end of the race?
No, to be honest, I was in the party with Chicken, and I was trying to, because Links got a penalty, and I think Chicken was on quite a bit newer softs to the other guys, so it was final lap. I was just lifting through the first corner, just holding everyone up, trying to get him into the penalty window of Links. But yeah, I knew some guys went like 10 laps on the softs, and at the end I knew their softs weren't going to be good enough anymore. I think the hards probably were better at the end, but yeah, hards definitely wasn't the strat. But yeah, it all went wrong in qualifying, and then Noah was just a bit too slow to. I think that really ruined our race. Noah was just too slow to keep up with Jensen and Tom, and that just screwed us. Which meant I had to try something a bit different. In the end, it wasn't right call, but I mean I had to try something different to be in the fight for the win, but didn't work out at all in the end. But yeah, as soon as Noah dropped out, and he was like very, very slow in the clean air, so yeah, that screwed my race a bit. But I wasn't really worried in the end anymore.
Yeah, and obviously still finishing in P3 despite that set of hard compound tyres obviously wearing really away towards the end of the race. Still must be happy with the result though.
Yeah, definitely. China is like probably most wheel users. Like I absolutely despise it. So yeah, I actually only did a few time trial laps before the race. Was actually quite happy with my qualifying pace, but I just couldn't hook up the final 2 laps. I've been really poor in qualifying lately, so I'm gonna need to sort that out. That obviously put me a bit too far back to stick with Jensen and Tom, which I think might have been possible. But yeah, I'm happy this race is over. Getting podium again. Yeah, it's good for the points, and yeah, with Jensen missing in Austria, and I mean I had a bit of an issue in Spain, and those things could happen to him as well. He might have some bad luck, so yeah, it's definitely not over yet. It's going to be difficult, but with Tom, Tom has been really impressive lately, so yeah, he's going to be tough to keep behind in the championship as well.
Yeah, definitely so, but still, I think is it the third podium at least, I think, in a row where we've actually been on the podium, and third race, obviously, with the sprint and feature last week, of course, in Britain. Still, very good performance from your perspective. Pepsi, I'm going to put across to you. Any questions?
You know what? I'm going to ask 3 different questions, 3 different drivers. So, with the break week coming up this time, and then next week Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, what's your opinion on the Jeddah track? Because it's new to the game, and I guess it's not new anymore, but I don't think many leagues have ran on as much. So, what's your opinion on Jeddah?
I didn't drive the track a lot before the last few weeks, because now most leagues are getting it on the calendar. And I've been enjoying it, to be fair. It's going to be a massive DRS train, so be prepared. But yeah, I enjoy the track. Definitely in qualifying, it's so flowing, and if you nail that lap, it's probably the most enjoyable track to time trial. So yeah, I enjoy the track.
Okay. James, you got anything else you like to add?
Nothing else from me. Go and enjoy your evening, Rudy.
Yeah, cheers.
Very welcome indeed, and that rounds us off neatly with the interviews. Big thank you to Tom, to Jensen, and to Rudy, of course, for joining us for the driver interviews. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you once again. Driver of the day is?
You know what? I'm gonna go for a wild card here. I'm gonna go with the new kid on the block. I'm gonna go with Stiff. I think he kind of just showed it coming in the pace today how he made those credible moves. One that got you literally out of your seat. So I'm gonna go for that wild card option. He finished 4th, maybe not on the podium. I know you're saying Jensen won the race, Tom was battling, they did great strategy. But sometimes you gotta go with the driver that excited the commentators and excited the fans. So I'm going Stiff in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, just simply, I think Steph's move around the outside of Hyper through turn number 1 is the best and probably most insanest move I think I've ever seen in China, and let alone probably in TTML F1 this season, maybe even the last couple of seasons as well. Absolutely phenomenal move. He gets my driver of the day vote as well. Sorry, Jensen, if you're still here, and sorry to anyone that might be still here as well for not giving you driver of the day. But that rounds us off neatly here on Twitch. Of course, more action to come on League Racing TV throughout the entirety of the week, and of course on the TTML Twitch channel, where 3 of our 4 divisions are now covered, of course, for TTML F1. If you did enjoy the stream, of course, you can follow and subscribe. 20% off currently on subscribing as well. And there's also that great deal of Amazon Prime as well, now that we became a Twitch affiliate as well, with obviously TTML being on. It is break week though. We're probably going to catch up. We're probably going to rest our voices as well, which I think is absolutely crucial. But I'm going to end off the stream by saying these 4 very important words. We stand with Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.